Chris Norris here from Philly in Focus, and I'm here with Attorney Michael Coard, who's here celebrating the 394th anniversary of slavery. A lot of people don't believe we're free, and I think Michael Coard is one of them. Why would you say that we're not free today, despite that we are able to walk around and we have a black president in office?
Excellent question. The people who challenged me on the statement that black people are not free today, mostly non-black people, I asked them this question. If tomorrow you had to go to court as a defendant, or tomorrow you had to go into a bank to get a loan, or tomorrow you had to go to an apartment complex in order to rent a place, would you prefer to go as a defendant, as an applicant, as a renter, as a black man or woman, or some other ethnic group? The answer is obvious. You would have a better shot as a white defendant, as a white applicant, as a white apartment seat. This is 2013. Despite the fact that in America we have a black president, in Philadelphia we got a black mayor, that doesn't matter if the average man and woman, the average boy and girl are catching hell. I want to be clear. What's going on today pales in comparison to what happened during slavery. That was hell. That was the hardest part of hell. Today, we're in a cooler part of hell, but it's still hell. It's like Brother Malcolm said, anything south of Canada is Mississippi, is the South. So that's where we are today.
Let's talk about hell. Let's talk about some things that black people feel are hell. As we sit in front of the Constitution, this First Amendment thing for the Constitution, just last week, a federal judge viewed Stop-and-Frisk as being unconstitutional. A lot of black men consider that to be hell. Very embarrassing, very shameful. With it being unconstitutional, what happens now? And is that a form of slavery?
Great question. It's a form of slavery, and what happened is New York, like many major cities, have this stop and frisk, and it's a long, complicated thing, but basically stop and frisk means this. In 1968, there was a U.S. Supreme Court decision that said police officers may engage in stop and frisk, but that case came out of an Ohio situation where a veteran cop is in downtown Columbus, Ohio. He watches two guys walk back and forth to a store, never go in. A third guy joins him. 12 times these people go back and forth. And the cop is like, you're not going in, you're huddling up in front of the store, what's going on? The cop then approaches, pats them down, finds a gun, and that's where stop and frisk came from. So unless black men and black boys and Latino boys and Latino men are walking back and forth to stores with bulges in their pocket, huddling around doing something suspicious, stop and frisk as it applies today is illegal. So really what they're doing is not the stop and frisk that the Supreme Court approved in 1968. This is nothing but racial harassment.
So what can people do about that?
Excellent question. The first thing is get this app. There's an app by the ACLU. If you go to aclu-nj.org. They have this app where once you have an encounter with a police officer, you press the app, and the good thing, not only does it record video and audio, it goes to the ACLU headquarters, so the cops can even take your phone and destroy it, but there's still a record. That's the first thing. Second thing is know your rights. Understand that you do not have to cooperate. In other words, don't make any statements. If they ask you for ID and that kind of thing, yeah, you can do that, but don't say anything about your case or about why they stopped you, because they'll use it against you.
Mike, I have a question I think that you can answer. Maybe you're just as bewildered. We put out a report last week that talked about stop and frisk, where the New York Police Commissioner Ray Kelly said that we have to be fair because the crime is happening disproportionately in minority communities.
Yes.
However, in the same year in which they're claiming that they're having the greatest success of stop and frisk in 2011, white on white crime exceeded black on black crime, and there are statements that say white on white crime is ripping apart the fabric of this country. Why don't we talk about that? Why are they not being stopped and frisked?
The answer in a word is racism. Because if it was about protecting people from crime, then you would focus on the people who commit the most crime. White men commit the most crime in America. So it's not about that. It's clearly about racism. The police commissioner in New York also said that he said that this will benefit black people because it'll stop black people from being killed by these guns on the street. That was such bullshit.
Brother.
And what I mean by that is this. If he wanted us to believe that stop and frisk was created to protect black people, he must think we're stupid. It was not created to protect black people, it was created to attack black people. And if you take his argument to a logical conclusion, okay, we're going to stop these people from committing crimes against black people. But why don't we stop all people from committing crimes against all people? What's the solution? lock everybody up, violate everybody's rights, stop and frisk everybody, throw everybody in jail, and I guarantee you overnight crime will stop. But that's not what this country was based upon. It's based upon the Constitution, the First Amendment, and in particular the Fourth Amendment. So if these people are the patriots they claim to be, then their Bible, their political Bible, is the Constitution. And the first commandment in this regard is the Fourth Amendment, which basically says the cops must have probable cause. They must have a valid legal reason. That's why the Founding Fathers created the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and that's why that federal judge in New York said to the New York Police Department, what you're doing is blatantly illegal. It's not even close.
My last question to you is, as a lawyer, what can the everyday citizen do when they're stopped? It's deemed unconstitutional. Mayor Nutter in several videos says that he knows what it's like to be stopped and frisked, yet he's keeping the law intact. What can people do? And it seems today that with stop and frisk, with 81% of black children be affected by school closings, it seems like racism is more blatant today than it was back then. What can people do about this besides just be upset?
Two things I want to say. Use the word blatant. I'm so blatant because you can make the argument that things are worse today than before. Why? Because at least before, the cops could do stuff and lie about it, and people would know. But now they can do it, and it's on videotape, and they still get away with it. So it's blatant now. That's one thing. What can people do? People have to arm themselves, not with weapons, but with books, with education. I encourage people, if they can, in the Philadelphia area, to take my criminal justice course. And if you're outside of Philly and you can't take my criminal justice course, you can go to our website, the tax website. All the information is there. Go to www.avengingtheancestors.com, and we'll give you a step-by-step procedure of what you can do when you're encountered by
Mike, I want you to speak right into the camera very clearly and tell people about this course at Temple that they can take.
There's a program at Temple University called PASCEP, P-A-S-C-E-P, Pan-African Studies Community Education Program. 70 different courses. I teach too, hip-hop, and in this case, criminal justice. It's called Criminal Justice from Arrest to Appeals. It tells you what you need to do, what you need to know when you encounter the police officer on the street up until you are about to be sentenced to prison and want to file an appeal. The best way to register for the course, 215-204-1993. 215-204-1993. Sign up immediately, take the course, arm yourself. If you can't take the course, contact me at www.avengingtheancestors.com, because we need to know this information to protect ourselves from the harassment that's never going to end.
Michael Coard, it's always a pleasure. Thank you guys so much for watching. Until next time, I'm Flood the Drummer, and I'm drumming for justice.